The best player in the world of FC26 scored 76 goals in just 10 games at the FC Pro Open. With $535,000 on the line, one player dominated everyone. And in the same group, the most famous name in the competitive scene got eliminated. Same game, same meta, same pressure. This wasn't about luck. This was about decisions. And today, we're going to break down exactly why he dominated and what separated winning from elimination. We're going to analyze the gameplay of these pro players and show you exactly which tactics they use and how they apply them. The best shots, the best passes, and how they apply pressure without overcommitting. But throughout this breakdown, we'll place a special focus on Anders' gameplay. Not because of his name, but because of how consistently he does things differently, offensively and defensively. Because at this level, the smallest differences decide everything. Let's start with the very first attack of the game. Because this single sequence already explains why Anders is so hard to defend. During the build-up, he's constantly triggering forward runs. Every time he has the ball, he's asking a teammate to move. To do this, you press L1 while aiming at a teammate. That player immediately starts making a forward run. He's not waiting for space, he's creating it. Now look at this pass wide to the fullback. He uses L1 plus X. That's important, because this pass moves the ball and sends the passer forward. Straight after that, he triggers a run from his central midfielder. L1 again. No space yet, so he doesn't force it. Instead, he triggers Musiala. In less than 1 minute of game time, he's already triggered 3 forward runs. This is calculated pressure. Now he does it again on the winger. At this point, the defender has too many threats to track. And this is where the line breaks. Once the passing lane opens, he plays another L1 plus X, and immediately sends Mbappe on a run. One run pulls a defender out. Another opens space behind. Now the key moment, the double triangle pass. The timing is perfect. One step earlier, it's offside. One step later, the lane is gone. From here, it's simple. A controlled finesse finish. R1 plus shoot. This entire goal comes from one thing. Forcing the defense to move without the ball. And that's why Anders scores so early. He makes defenders uncomfortable from the first possession. This is the first minutes of the game against Tekkz. Same pattern. Multiple players attacking the box. No rush. No force play. Too many runners to track. And once again, the defense breaks. And same idea again. Multiple midfield runs. More than one threat arriving in the box. The defense can't commit to a single option, and that's what opens the space. Now pause here. This pass is crucial. It's a directional nutmeg pass. To do it, hold L1 and R1. Move the right stick to the side and press X during the animation. The timing matters. Get it right, and you break the line instantly. And this one is finished with a low-driven shot. You perform it by pressing shoot twice. But what really makes the difference is that Vejrgand knows exactly when to use each type of finish. Up until now, we've seen what happens when offensive decisions are made correctly. Now let's look at the other side of the equation. Because even at the highest level, games are often decided by offensive mistakes. Pause here. This attack explains a lot. There are no forward run triggers, no midfield movement, no extra threats arriving in the box. The ball moves, but the defense doesn't. Without triggers, the defender can stay compact, hold position, and defend comfortably. Compare this to Vejrgand. He forces movement before he looks for the pass. Here, the attack waits for space. At this level, space doesn't appear. It has to be created. Let's take a look at Tekkz here, and we notice the same problem again. No multiple runs, no extra threats, so the defender doesn't have to choose. He can step back and win the ball easily. And now look at this attack from Tuga. Here, the buildup is actually decent. The space is there, the shooting lane is open, but the shot never comes. Instead, the play is delayed, the defense recovers, and the moment is gone. At this level, if you have the chance, you have to take it. This is one of the biggest differences in this meta. Hesitation gets punished. Decisive actions get rewarded. Before we move on to the tactics of each player and how the pros defended in this competition, let's take a moment to quickly break down when and how to use the offensive mechanics we just saw. First, trigger runs. This is essential. You should constantly be sending players forward. To do this, aim at a teammate and press L1. That player will immediately start making a run. Use this especially with your wingers right after you recover the ball. It instantly stretches the defense and gives you much more space to build your attack. Next, the directional nutmeg pass. This is especially powerful in transition. When the defender is blocking the passing lane to your striker, this mechanic lets you break the line. Hold L1 and R1, move the right stick to the side, and press X during the animation. Once the lane opens, all that's left is the finish. Finally, finishing and shot selection. If you're facing the goal, the finesse shot is the most reliable option. The low-driven shot is better when your player is slightly angled toward the sideline, or when the goalkeeper is rushing out. Mastering these mechanics is not about spamming buttons. It's about understanding when to apply each one. That understanding is what separates good players from great ones. Now that we've covered the offensive tools, let's move on to defensive principles and tactical setups used by the pros in this competition. Defensive tips. Being aggressive is important, but only if you know how to be aggressive. Watch the sequence. The attacker is triggering forward runs, but the defender doesn't rush. He tracks the runners. He protects the space in behind, and only when the danger is gone, he steps up aggressively and wins the ball. This is a dangerous counterattack. There's speed, there's space, but instead of diving in, the defender stays patient. He keeps tracking the run in behind, while slowly closing the space. And when the timing is perfect, he steps in aggressively and wins the ball. Vejrgand reaction tells you everything. Same principle here. No runner in behind, no immediate danger. So the defender steps up early with his center back and wins the ball high up the pitch. Now let's talk about the offside trap. This is a very powerful defensive tool when it's used correctly. Here the defender keeps pushing the defensive line higher. He activates the offside trap by pressing up on the D-pad twice. This does two things. It removes space in behind, and it forces the attacker to make faster decisions. Notice how the line goes up again and again. The opponent has less room to play, less time to think. Eventually, the attack becomes uncomfortable. A mistake is forced, and the ball is recovered. The key is timing. Use it to control space. Now let's finish with team press. This is a powerful defensive tool when it's used at the right moment. Team press is activated by pressing up and left on the D-pad. Notice what happens immediately. Passing lanes are closed. Options disappear. This isn't random pressure. It's used when the opponent is already limited. Because of that, a mistake is forced and the ball is won back. Before we finish, let's take a quick look at the tactics used in this group. Most of the players who qualified used the same formation, 4-4-1-1. Anders, Yaskow, Tuga. But what really matters here is not just the formation, it's how it's used. If you want to apply these tactics yourself, you can enter the codes directly on your console. And if you want a deeper breakdown on how to attack with more structure, or how to defend more consistently, you can find full tutorials on my channel. If this breakdown helped you understand how pros actually play, leave a like. It really helps the channel push this kind of content further.